the VTube section in your podcast, The Blau and Sob, is RPing about RPing as a VTuber. Some good points came up. Yeah. Some people as VTubers are way more characterized, and some people are really not that much of a character. They're just like a person using a model. I don't think either one is better or worse. It's just whatever you like to watch. It's a preference thing. But I always think it's so funny, and I get it. It makes sense to me why it happens, but it's so funny when someone debuts and there's such a character, and you're looking at like a new person, right? They show up, you hear their voice for the first time, you see their design, and they're doing a whole debut stream, and you're like, oh my god, this character is great. And then, you know, a year later, you pop into one of their streams, and they're just like, yeah, man, I was going to the store the other day, and then they're just talking about like normal life stuff. Yeah, it erodes so hard. They have like a catchphrase that they say way less over time. All the early memes that they like debut with, 80% of those are just gone, and anything that's still left, people are like, hey, you've memed this into oblivion, we can stop now. I think that stuff is so funny. So funny. Because at the end of the day, people are just people, you know, like, it's a little hard to keep it up if you're doing long streams, at least. If you're doing, I would say if you're doing fewer stream hours, it's a lot easier to keep that up. Or if you're doing, you know, like a 3-hour stream every day, like a really short one, then it's not so bad. But when you're around for a lot longer, I don't know. Where it's easier if you do streams where you're playing games and reacting to things, but you're not chatting as much. I think the more, this is what I've noticed, the more just chatting you do, the harder it is to maintain any sort of character or anything. So if you want to be a just chatting streamer, just, you know, there's a good chance you're gonna have to give up. Not everyone, some people can keep up on it, but I think a lot of people can stay on brand, but not in character. You know what I mean? It gets real interesting, real interesting. We're the kayfabe champions. I love stuff like that. I just think it's not sustainable when you do a high number of hours of just improv live content. I think it just can't happen. Booby has perfect kayfabe. Right, but he's only around a little bit. Imagine if he was streaming every day. That would erode 100%. Maybe not like the voice and referring to things in a certain way, but the whole character would erode for sure. It's a lot. Hearing Athel's VTuber lore and then seeing him do more IRL content over time as a whiplash. Yeah. It's crazy, man. It's crazy. I don't know how some people do it. I think it depends on like whatever character and brand you set yourself up with from the beginning. Some stuff is a lot easier to keep up on. I think especially if you're like an animal VTuber, right? That's so much easier to keep up on. Make a little sound, tiny little catchphrase at the end of a sentence occasionally. Someone says something and you're like, ooh, I like that because I'm a cat. It's so easy, you know? It's great. It's foolproof. But if you have like this colorful, extensive lore and you're a really specific character, like the more specific you get, the harder it is to keep that up, you know? For sure. Yeah, what about No Pixel though? And another person said, you're in character for hours while playing GTA. Is VTubing that different? Yeah, because when you're playing GTA, there's a world to interact with, and your character's reacting to that world and what other characters are saying to them. When you're a VTuber, you're just talking to a chat full of normal-ass people and trying to just say stuff. And there's no server that you're on. There are no happenings in a virtual city that you can talk about that keep you in character. You're just fucking there, you know? And that stuff is so hard. It's so hard, man. It's so different. So different. Call me normal. You guys are really fucking normal. Real fucking normal. Yup. When should I become normal? You guys are like, ooh, we're so goofy, silly. No, you're very normal. 100%. Remain unconvinced. Well, from my perspective, you are. You're degenerates. Yeah, that's still pretty normal. The average person is. I don't know, man. I don't know. I actually think that's pretty common. That's pretty common. It's not very unique. I don't know. Yeah, step it up. Step it up. You guys have been real normal lately, you know? And we gotta adjust it. We're gonna adjust it a little bit. So this is why Ian McKellen broke down on the set of The Hobbit. He had to act in a vacuum in a green screen room for hours at a time. Yup. It was so rough on him. I felt so bad.